There's a reason 10 contains the characters of all first letters in the phrase "that's not enough," which is reason enough for us to add a few more entries to our characters left out of KOF 14 list. We can definitely get a few more names than the measly 10 we have already. Anyway, we've got our aims and our tub of reverence. Let's get started with number 1 on our list, who is... what drug are you on? He doesn't even exist anymore. Are words you might be bellowing on the patio of your humble abode. However, for those who know the current story, then you understand that Mr. Crimson's inclusion is very much a viable possibility. The bigwigs did read your postcards. With what was thought to be his final appearance due to his KOF 13 ending suggesting he'd not only never be seen again, but that he'd never even existed in the first place, and the only chance lied within a slightly underwhelming rumour coming to fruition. However, it seems hope has finally been restored for the flamboyant anti-hero's arrival, though because of the timing of certain events in KOF 14, there's no chance he could have actually entered the tournament. Therefore, the only way a standard appearance would make sense canonically is if the next installment was a continuation from the tournament, allowing him time to join a new team post his nap. How that manifests is SNK's code, though we should try and recollect that Ash has also treaded boss territory, therefore we can't entirely rule out a return as the next game's final hurdle. However, whether he comes back as a boss or a member of a team, we're really not fussed, as some of us have almost destroyed our fingers crossing them for the hopes of this character's return. We therefore hope everybody's favourite man with a hairband can blaze green onto the scene one more time. Duolon, the son of the seemingly eternal cameo boss Ron, who was once the leader of an eccentric group of assassins called the Hisoku. However, after he killed Duolon's best friend's mother and grandmother, and subsequently left the group, Duolon, who was once known as the prince among the Hisoku, was now labelled the son of a traitor, and consequently pursues Ron for his treachery. He seems to possess powers related to necromancy, which enables him to manipulate the spirits of the dead, and has even displayed the ability to manipulate his own soul by creating a copy of himself to attack opponents. Oh, so that's what that was. With all these tools meshed with a teaspoon of yoga, he continues forward in his quest to hunt down his father. Now, we at the Move Legacy's research department don't exactly know the majestic day Ron will decide to grace us with his presence. However, we can say that when the day does come, Duolon is most probably going to become a focal point in that particular saga. Whatever episode that decides to be, there's still a fair few of us who'd like to use him one last time before the spotlight beams exclusively upon him. Having all the potential to be as intimidating as your run-of-the-mill master ninja, Eiji has somewhat become quite the joke character as of recent, being akin to the proverbial limerent, to which the limerent object doesn't know you exist. This long-time menace of the Kyokugens is really an entity none of them seem privy to due to his constant failures to thwart them, which brings about a surprising light side to the would-be dark-looking ninja, to the point he's been seen to form alliances with almost anybody, if it meant crushing his long-time rivals, with prerequisites not entailing too many clauses. He seems to have become a fan favourite due to his tomfoolery, and will probably be welcome as an addition to the 14 roster. These days you can usually find this particular character among the many she-haters who are lying in wait with a few too many Long Island iced teas in the system, and even more left they have ready for the victorious women team fighters of that particular game. Kasumi Todoh is a frustrated little kitten shouldering the weight of her missing father, who in our opinion isn't really worth hogging the space on that milk carton, as he usually resides outside of peripheral vision. Since her inception, she's had a bone to pick with the Kyokugens after Takuma Sakazaki defeated their father in hand-to-hand combat, though for a while her pursuit had seemed to have cooled down after her mother tenderly advised her to cease her pursuit, though it's safe to say her obedience has expired in recent times, and we can happily say she's cleared herself to continue onward. With her prowess in Akijutsu and colossal chip shoulders, you can rest assured that as long as Yuhaku remains missing and Kyokugen open for business, Cass is and will always stay steadfast in fulfilling her personal objectives. Yeah, it's tempting to focus on the surface of this character. Luckily, fighting's got nothing to do with gorgeous-sonization. Therefore, Raiden's a great pick for the game. Like many pro wrestlers, he tends to alternate between the heel and face persona, though it seems his heel personality is more prevalent, and as a result he tends to be quite grueling in the ring, from manhandling his opponent to using his mouth as a super soaker. As of now, he stands to be quite a unique entity of Rider, considering that amidst 50 characters there's only one pro wrestler as of present. Don't let them outdo you like that. Although if KOF 14 is not a possibility, we're more than happy to wait for CVS 3 as an alternative, as there's an unfinished rivalry to be dealt with, or a great team yet to be born. We hope Capcom will do the right thing for a fair time. fierce kung fu practitioner blinded by his mission to commit patricide, as his father committed uxoricide, and if he ever met his son again, it stands he would commit filicide against him. Oh Hotaru, can't there be a bright side to this? Moving on, he's not one to delight in the company of others, which can be problematic in a team-based game, though he's shown to be tolerant of some of the more difficult characters in the series if it means garnering the whereabouts of his father or protecting the remaining family he has. We knew there was a soft side behind all that toughness, the big lug. Because of the turmoil of his past, Gato relentlessly presses on forward, making the day with his own blood all the more inevitable. Though we hope the encounter will bring him to the 4-team tournament, and if possible have a certain occurrence bring the troubled kung fu practitioner a bit of solace from his tragic past. Another member of those from the past that group that's looking more and more like a sorority than an evil clan. Shroom is another character that's made many noteworthy movements in the game, from stealing Magaki's dead body off a maximum security vessel before sinking said vessel, and not to mention after a brief blackout, interrupting a meeting held by the Secret Services and stealing their head's eye patch, which he would flaunt as a trophy for most of the next game. Quite the resume, but what's your experience? We don't know much about him as of now, though he seems to be falling out of admiration for his former leader, Saiki. Interestingly, we do witness him meeting his old comrade Shion in some type of hyperbolic time chamber. What was discussed between the two is yet to be known, however it's possible Shroom's next movements will most probably coincide with whatever Shion's current plans are, which means a future appearance is highly probable to include both parties, and if both Am returns we may just have ourselves a more diabolical team villains than our current one. The current captain of the Lillian Knight Pirates, Bon Jenny once lived a life of luxury as the daughter of a wealthy couple, though her life of nobility became a tad bit banal and she decided to run away and hit the vast 7 seas, or streets, to find riches that she'd probably have a better chance of finding in a family safe than anywhere else. Unsurprisingly, her motive for entering tournaments is usually to attain the prize money alone, so much so that she'll resort to stealing if she has to, typical pirates. Her future inclusion doesn't exactly stand to move the story forward in any way, though with a check that long, we doubt Bon and the Knights would really let it pass by. Now the pirate fighter archetype is a growing trend amongst fighting games these days, no thanks to you. And yes, we do know that the seat's taken as of now currently, but a nice little rivalry never hurt anyone. Therefore let's have the ravishing raider enter the fray, so much so you may choose to stitch your eyelids closed just to keep yourself together. A welcomed addition if included, just make sure you watch your valuables round this one. The heir to the Bernstein legacy, thanks to being the seed of the sportsman-like Rugal, a man who, if bested in gentlemen's competition, would rather destroy the whole stadium than sit through your wimpos. The more sagacious in comparison, Adelheid strives to move his father's legacy in a more positive direction, not only letting those who best him leave with their trophies and bodies intact, but really only putting his dukes up in the first place to test his own abilities. He's usually tagged along with his croissant-locked and bratty little sister Rose, who deeply idolizes him and admires his prowess in hand-to-hand combat, though seemingly hates everything else, a trait Rose shares with her father in that regard, though fortunately none of his fighting ability. Adelheid deeply cares for his younger sibling all the same, and when he found out that she was being manipulated into hosting the 13th tournament, he vowed to find and punish the ones responsible. We can now see that Adelheid is on a vengeance warpath, and we hope that path leads him all the way to the doors of the 4-team tournament. Arguably one of 3 of the most important characters in the canon of the story, to the point that if anything were to happen to her, it would spell doom for the KOF universe. Chizuru Kagura is the representative of the Yatta clan, one of 3 clans that each possess a sacred power, with theirs being called the Yatta Mirror. When these 3 powers are brought together, they can seal away the would-be Earth killer Orochi. Despite her relevance, she's far too often left on the sidelines as the other more trendy reps hog all the action. Though it would seem she bears the burden of guarding the seal, we hope there's another Yatta around that could tag her out every so often and take over as seal monitor for a bit, while she gets out of the shrine and enters a tournament or something. She's currently in the mix of the story due to Versa's arrival, and once again a terrible threat stands to make an appearance, and she is definitely required for the prevention of that terror being unleashed. We truly hope this is reason enough to get her back in that rightful 3rd seat that is left vacant far too often. No, this is simply an episode of when homages go wrong. My pants mathematical opinion, I believe it needn't be the end of a great character like this, and slight external tweaks are all that are necessary to sever those troublesome links. Keyword slight. So go ahead and mess around with the hair. Maybe alter or lose the cape. Change the eggy arm a little. Damn it, a little. Keep on going with that, and eventually something a little more diverse will emerge. Even in 14 currently, characters have returned, looking a little more different than in previous installments, so it's far from an unreasonable suggestion. Anyway, K49 had a huge part in the 2001 story, and was somewhat thought to be the Iori figure for K-Dash. We knew straight away these two had a scheduled deathmatch pending, which many of us would have hoped would come to fruition. However, from this standpoint, the wait could possibly be perpetual, if the appropriate measures aren't taken. So friends, it's best not to hold your breath on this character, who's most likely to become a memory before a realization that we're always free to keep hoping. Well, now it's come to the time we can hail some honourable mentions before bidding our adieus. Thank you for all the views so far. You're all amazing, end of. Anyway, take care till next time. See you later.
I'm just one man.